Now, Emily, we're going to play this par 5 with you.
Perfect.
And we want to see how you operate around the course and what you are thinking when you're in a tournament on your own.
Perfect. So would you like me to explain kind of what I'm going to do with my drive here? Perfect. All right. So first things first, I look at what the par is on the hole. For this hole, it's a par 5, and it's about 520 yards. So for me, because I don't hit it very far, I'm going to have to hit my driver on my first tee shot. So I line up, I'm looking at it, and I go through my routine and just hit my drive real quick.
Do you think of anything particular while you're doing your pre-shot routine?
First, I look where I kind of want my ball to go. I kind of play a little bit of a fade, so I will pick a line that is a little left of where I want my ball to end up so that I'm perfectly in the middle of the fairway, hopefully. At least we hope so.
Let's see what she's got. All right, follow along with us to hear more. So Emily, you just hit your first drive on this par 5. As we take this long path to your golf ball, what is going through your head? What are you telling yourself?
Well, I'm kind of first thinking about how I didn't hit a very good drive.
That's golf.
Yep, pulled it a little left.
So you need to learn how to recover.
Yep, so I'm just kind of thinking about where I can hit my second shot just to put it in play so I can hopefully still make birdie, and if at worst, par, just to get myself back on track. But other than that, I'm trying to forget about my last shot, because your last shot, even if it's good or bad, doesn't dictate your next one. So I'm just trying to move forward and think about my next shot.
Now, when you're playing in a tournament, are you talking to your opponents, or do you just kind of stick to yourself?
So that's definitely like a personal preference. For me, I love talking on the golf course, because if I didn't talk on the course, I think I would be so extremely bored. So I try to talk to my playing partners, but you also have to realize that what you want might not be what they want. So you could get paired with another talkative partner, or you could also get paired with somebody who prefers to not talk. But if I had the choice, I would choose to talk.
What happens when you get paired with somebody that's not much of a talker, and then you're kind of in your own head for a whole 18, sometimes 36 holes?
That's true, and that definitely does happen. I try to just kind of sing songs in my head, as lame as that sounds. Just something that kind of like passes the time, because if you're sitting out here thinking about it the whole time, you're gonna drive yourself absolutely insane.
All right, so we are at Emily's drive. Where's Gary Wild when we need him for the rules? She's on the cart path. Now, Emily, talk us through what you're going to do for your cart path rule.
Awesome. Okay, so this was my pulled tee shot left, and ended up on the cart path. So first thing you're going to have to do once you get on the cart path is you're going to have to pick your nearest point of relief, which could be on either side of the cart path. Lucky for me, it is on the right side of the cart path, which will give me a little bit better angle for this hole. So I'm going to get my stance, nearest point, and you have to take full relief. So I can't have my heels touching the cart path at all. I need full relief from the cart path, and then I would take my club, if I can get it out.
And the club you're going to use, right? You can't just take a driver.
Correct.
It has to be the one.
Correct. The club you're going to use, and I'm going to use my 5-iron here to hook it around these trees, hopefully. And then you put the tee down where the ball would be, and then you get a club length from that spot. And that one, I believe you can use whatever club you want.
We'll check on that.
We'll check on that. We'll ask Gary Wild.
We'll ask Gary Wild.
We'll ask Gary Wild. Get a club length from that. And notice how I take my club back so that I am not anywhere closer to the hole. And I can then take my ball, clean it if I'd like, and drop it within that club length. And it bounced this way, so I am not close to the hole, and my ball is now in play. Sorry.
So right now you can't really see the hole, so what are you about to take your rangefinder and get the yardage for?
So these things are lifesavers, because you can shoot a yardage to literally anything. I am going to shoot. There's a tree right across the fairway. Oh, 174. I can't even get there. So that's perfect to know that I can choose a club to get in the middle of the fairway without risking going over into the rough, making it an even harder third shot. So I'm going to take my 5-iron and just hit it straight out. Try to put a little bit of a draw on it so that it bounces closer to the hole.
Wow. For those of you that can't see it, she couldn't have hit a better shot. That is how you get out of trouble, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go to the next shot. So Emily, we are heading to your approach shot. Why did I say you got out of trouble? Great, you could have hit a better shot. What are you kind of starting to think about as you take this approach shot on and see your distance?
Well, lucky for me, I noticed that there's a red dot right here, which signals that I am 100 yards from the middle of the green. So I know I'm going to have a wedge, maybe a little less, which is great for me because I practice my 100 yards and in all the time. So I'm just going to, once I get up here, the first thing I check is the wind. Here I notice that it's pretty dead, a little crosswind coming off the right side, not too much though. Then I will get my rangefinder out again that we just used before.
Now for all those golfers that are wondering, do you think about your mechanics as you are playing or no?
I personally do not. Some people definitely do. I find that the more I think about my swing, the less accurate I will be, because if I start thinking about the mechanics of my swing, I just start to think too much, and I don't necessarily think on what I should be doing, but rather on past shots. So I try to think about the next shot and the next shot only, and just go from there.
Thinking gets you in trouble. So don't think about your mechanics. Is that what we're taking away from this?
That's what we should take away from this.
Okay.
So here I've got 91 yards to the pin. It's pretty flat, so I'm not going to add any yardage on for uphill or subtract any for downhill. Like I said, the wind was coming off the right, so when it's a side wind, I personally do not take away any yardage or add any yardage. I'm just going to play true to that number. So I'm going to try to hit at 85 yards, and hopefully at one hop stops right next to the hole so I can make a birdie. But we'll see.
We'll see. Well, there you go. That's how you hit an approach shot.
Nice.
All right, as we approach this green, are you doing anything special? Are you looking at the undulation from left to right? What are you kind of doing as you take this green?
So the first thing I notice is that there's water on the left side. One tip for golfers out there is greens usually tend to break towards the water. So all of the green should, technically in theory, funnel towards that water. The second thing that I look at is how's the green sloped, back to front, front to back. If it's front to back and I'm short of the hole, I'll have a downhill putt. If I'm short of the hole and it's back to front, I'll have an uphill putt. Then I will go to the side of my putt and just kind of get a feel for, am I putting uphill or am I putting downhill, or is it pretty flat? Take out the pin, and everybody always remember to fix your ball marks.
All right, Emily, so this is one thing my whole college career I struggled with is reading greens. So do you have a special tip for all of us that struggle with reading greens?
The first thing that I would say is really try to find your line. Players that tend to be the best putters, especially on tour, always say that they can see the line of their putt. So the one thing that I do, like I mentioned, I first look at it from the side. So I'll just come to the side of it, usually on the low side. Up there you can kind of see, just by the way like the cup is facing, that is the higher side. So I'll come to the lower side so I can see my putt a little bit better. I noticed that my putt is a little bit downhill, and then I'll come behind my putt, and that's when I will try to see the line. Some players go on the other side of the hole just to kind of give themselves a second look at it. I personally don't do that. Like we mentioned a little bit earlier, thinking gets you in trouble. So I personally just come behind my ball to look at the line, because if I'm going to the other side too, while some people might say more information is good, I personally don't see the line on the other side of the hole. So I come behind it, look at it. I notice that my putt's a little left to right. I'll come up here and just kind of look at it just to see how much is breaking about 3 feet from the hole.
And how important to you is your pre-shot routine while you're putting?
I think pre-shot routine is everything, because putting, when it gets down to it, putting is going to win you tournaments, matches, championships, all of that.
Drive for show, putt for dough.
That's right. So if you can have a pre-shot routine that you can stick with when you're under pressure, that is going to be the key to anybody's success. So I come behind it, like I said, read it from behind. I've picked out my line. Ideally, I want to hit it right over this little mark. That will allow me to have it die into the hole just on the left side. I don't use a line when I putt. I feel like if you have good speed but not as good direction, you'll still have a tap in putt for par. If you have bad speed, bad speed but good direction, you could still have a 5-foot putt coming back. So making sure that you have good speed is the most important part of my putting. I do 3 practice strokes. Actually, I think I just did 4, but I normally do 3. One hand to line it up, and hopefully make it. Well, we didn't make it today, guys. But tap-ins are good.
Well, there you have it, everybody. You just got in the mind of Emily Jors, and she helped teach us how to operate around a par 5. Thank you, Emily.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys picked up a few tips that you can take with you on the course yourself.
We'll see you next week.